Welcome back to the non-travel photography vlog. Today is season 2, episode 4. We have effectively almost an entirely new kit from when the last time I filmed. Had a lot of trials and a lot of errors, and we will talk about that. But today we are at the Bandimere Park, I believe is how you're going to say it, or how I say it, or how it's said. Whatever. It's cold, it's windy, and there's a lot of people around, so it's going to be challenging, but we got to get an episode made. So, enjoy some cool B-roll of this bridge that's like right behind you in this giant river here. So, there's a couple of spots on this trail that when I used the Google Maps that looked like it'd be semi-interesting, and maybe we could get a cool photo or two. But we're going to try to get moving because I'm not sure if it's going to rain or not. And even if it can, my cameras, they don't see rain. So let's get moving. All right, so I kind of parked on the wrong side of this trail. I went to the wrong parking lot. I had to cross the river and then now cross over the railroad tracks down through this marshy area to get where I wanted to be. There's nothing cool to take photos of over here, but what an adventure. All right, so this is another one of those days where I'm at a place I've never been to before, so I'm having to kind of explore the area to see if I can find anything worth taking a photo of. I wish I would have known about this spot, Peak Fall, because there's, like you can see down here, this like little walkout, and then there's just like this really nice tree line behind us. And this would have made for great photos. I'm still seeing some color at the top of that tree line back there, lots of like dark maroons and kind of some yellows. So I think what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to take a picture like panorama style and then see if we can't pull some color out of the image. So bear with me for a moment. Okay, now we need to go to single autofocus. Okay, let's focus back there. All right, and there's the image. I don't know if it's going to be too much, but a lot of the fun is exploring places you've never been to before, so fun for that. Let's keep moving. Okay, so this is pretty cool. It's loud, so I hope you can hear me. I've never been here before. Like, I've been around Ann Arbor quite a while, and like I go look around a lot and go explore, but I've never been here before. Very cool. So I got a picture of the building here with this like first, I guess the falls on the far right. So here's the picture for that. So very cool over here. I don't know, I didn't expect it to be so loud. Doesn't make sense why it wouldn't be. It's a lot of water falling. Waterfalls are loud. But something I really like is like photos of water when the water looks like almost black and then there's something in it, which right here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it there on the video, but like right here in the ground there is this like chunk of rock coming out, and there's like a moss covering it. It's all wet. The water around it looks dark, so give me just a second. Awesome. So I hope you've been able to hear me and that I'm not like too super underexposed here. So enjoy that photo, but I think it might be time to move on from this spot. I see a potential like extra shot here, but it's going to be around the corner. I hope it's something. we'll see, but let's get over there. All right, so the camera's gonna be a bit further back because if I bring it any more like forward towards where I'm at, it's gonna start getting just absolutely blasted with the mist from these waterfalls. But the shot that I'm seeing is this bench up here. So give me 1 second. All right, so we're at the Ypres White Nature area now. I was already at 2 different locations, but they didn't have the best options for, for video stuff, and there was limited photo options. So I have a little bit of stuff from that you'll probably see before this, and this will be what's kind of the end of the video here. So we're gonna be just kind of walking around this big giant wooded trail area, looking to see if there's anything that we can find that really stands out to us. I say us, I'm talking about you and me. So I'll see if I can find anything that stands out to me for photos, but as you can very clearly tell at this point in the season, the ground is where the leaves are, not in the trees anymore, and everything is crispy, and so there's not as much color as one would like, but we will still find something to take photos of. I think as the season has changed over into like late fall, early winter, the focus is going to be on like detail stuff instead of spanning landscapes, because one, I don't have a whole lot of those here where I live, but also all the color is gone now, so it's just a bunch of sticks. It just looks like sticks standing up. So we're gonna hope that we can find some cool detail stuff. I see some moss on some dead trees that are still wet from the rain from the other day, so that'll probably have some nice detail and texture to it. So that's probably what we're going to focus on, is detail and texture. So for the rest of this video, I may not have the camera set up for every single photo that I take, so I'll try to put all of the photos I don't have video for at the end of the video. So enjoy, but we better get moving. We're running out of time. I was walking through the trail, and as I was walking past, this leaf caught my eye. It's like, as you can see, it's kind of green, reddish, black. I don't know, just got a handful of different colors to it, and I thought it looked pretty interesting. So I'm gonna see if I can't grab a picture of it really quick without it moving all over the place. See if we can't capture it. 3, 2, 1. See how that turned out, if that's anything. Try again here if it stops moving so much. Bump down, 1 stop. Come on. Okay, it might be nothing. It's probably nothing, but we try, so onwards. Well, it's not naturally occurring. And how creepy is this? Just a random, and a piece of wire just stabbed me in the leg. That's cool. This random skull, probably from Halloween, sitting here on this tree. Let's snatch a photo of that real quick. How weird. People are so weird. Part of what makes photography so enjoyable for me, and I guess video stuff as well, is it's the exploration of it, because you may be out somewhere that you've never been before and you see nothing, but it's exciting to go explore places you've never been, and especially when you're looking through the, I don't want to make the pun, but through the lens of photography, trying to find things that are worthwhile for a photo. It's almost like a scavenger hunt for an adult, so it's fun. It can be very slow at times where there's not a whole lot, and it just feels like you're walking really slow and you're looking around, especially when you're looking for like small detail or like contrast color-based photography, when there's not necessarily a subject that's popping out of the landscape or anything at you. You just have to find something. And I was walking through this trail here, and I noticed that only along, there's like this big tree here that fell. There's all of this green. It's like just on this portion of this hill, all these green plants that I don't want to say they stay green all year round, but it's fall. Everything else is dead, but they stay just this height and they're just this green all year round from what I have seen. But it's kind of interesting when you have like the dark browns, the light browns, the yellows, the reds, and then the greens in here. So it's kind of a feast for the eyes color-wise. So I'm going to try to frame something up here where we take advantage of all the available colors and try to get like a really nice, rich, colorful photo. So enough of me jibber-jabbering. And then we also have, that have fallen out of the tree, these, pine needles on these little sticks. So throw one of those in there. And that's another cool thing, though, is when you have a camera that's got, it's a full-frame camera sensor with 45 megapixels, you can frame, reframe, and stuff in post, and, it's still going to look like a nice, sharp photo. I did have something I wanted to talk about, but let's get to a more comfortable spot. So it's funny that I said I wanted to get to a more comfortable spot to have this talk, and then I'm balancing on this tree that has fallen. Anyway, so the reason that there was a lapse in videos, so I missed last week, it was my cameras. So I was shooting with an X-T5, and I think maybe the politest way to say it was that I absolutely hated it. And it wasn't because of the lack of a tilty flippy screen, as much as I really do like those for photography, for getting, lower down to stuff. Down lower for photos. It wasn't that, right? I think, and I may be alone in this, and this may be a bad opinion, but to me, I think with APS-C size sensors, I think once you cram what they're at, like 40 or 45 megapixels in an APS-C sensor, it starts to look really, really overly processed, really digital. Like even with the sharpening turned down, the image just was not, I didn't like any of the photos that I was getting out of that. And I'm a huge fan of Fujifilm. I've had an X100F, an X100V, an X100VI, an X-T4 2 or 3 times, an X-T5, an X Pro 2, XH1, XH2. I've had a lot of Fujifilm's cameras, an XE4. I'm sure there's more that I don't remember, but something about the X-T5, I absolutely hated it. So I got rid of that camera, and I ended up with a Nikon Z7. This camera is, at this point, I think 6 or 7 years old. I mean, it is full frame. It does have 45 megapixels, but I don't know if it's the age of the sensor, but I'm finding, as I've explored many different cameras for both photography and for videography, that the older sensors have a character to them that I'm finding is like being ironed out in each generation of new cameras, where we're trying to be optically like 100% flawless straight out of camera. I think that some chromatic aberration or some, sun stars or flares, I think some of that stuff lends to the character of a photo that when we just purely wiping all of that out, it ruins it. So that's the photography end of things. I think I prefer a slightly older sensor, because I think currently my favorite camera that I have taken photos with when it comes to like the character, the amount of images that I was like, hey, that's a great shot, was the Fuji X Pro 2. And that camera is 10 or 11 years old at this point. Like it's old. And I never had an issue with like the clarity or like the sharpness or the quality of the images. And this camera right here is 6 or 7 years old. And I mean, it's a 45 megapixel, 40 or 45 megapixel full frame sensor. But it doesn't have that weirdness. And I think that's a simple way I'm going to say it. It doesn't have that weird look to it when I'm editing the photos. And so far, I really am enjoying this camera. But for video, I started with the Lumix S5 II once I restarted this YouTube channel for video. And I loved the quality of the image. I love the colors, like right out of the camera, just coming back from like Vlog to Rec 709, I thought looked fantastic. But my issue was, I don't know if I had a weird copy or if there was something wrong with it, but even though you would see the box on my body, like I can see on this camera right now, the focus was like shaking. And it, like, even when I cropped in, there was still a level of like, it almost looked like hunting, even though it wasn't hunting. So I had to get rid of that because that's not usable for me. And then I went to a Sony FX30, and there's a lot good about those cameras, but I also think that maybe the learning curve can be a bit much for people, especially for what it is that I'm doing, where I'm just kind of doing this, setting the camera up, talking, taking a picture, moving on, and that's it. So I had the first one. The problem that I had with it was that no matter how I exposed it in S-Log3 or using S-Cinetone, the noise was outrageous. I changed the different ways for metering so I could see if maybe I still wasn't exposing high enough. But at one point I was exposing 2 stops overexposed plus, and it was still noisy in the edit. And I showed a handful of different people at the camera store where I live, and they're like, that seems kind of off. So I exchanged that one for another one, and they were not many numbers off when it was like a batch number or a serial number or something, but they didn't seem too many numbers off from each other. And so I don't know if maybe there was like a bad batch of those cameras that came out, because it was the same exact problem. So to make a long story long, I got rid of both of the Sony FX30s that I had, and I'm now using a Lumix S9. And granted, the 15-minute record limit, blah, 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 all that stuff doesn't bother me at all. I usually am not talking at this camera this long anyway. But this camera is small, it's lightweight, the colors are great, it has pretty much everything that I need, has a mic input. That's it. I just need a microphone input and it to stay focused. Like, I can see that it's focused on me right now. I don't see all of the kind of shaking in the edges. And I love, love, love the quality of the image that comes out of this camera. So that's why there was no video. I was having a lot of trouble getting this stuff, and I actually did film 3 separate videos last week. 3. And there was all problems with them. And so I didn't feel like putting out something that was bad quality. I figured since I don't have necessarily a huge audience yet, I might as well postpone, get it right, and then come out, take another video, do it again, and then post that when I know that everything is working properly. So this week's video, there may not be as many images because I am spending more time talking at the camera than I would particularly care to, and I think I won't be doing this that much in the future. So if you don't like this, but you like the other stuff, I promise this is like a one-time thing. But I have plumb run out of time here for today. So what we're gonna do is, if there's any photos that I haven't shown yet that I took when I was not recording, I'm gonna throw those up now so you have something to go out on that looks nice. And hopefully everything is good, we are clean, all the stuff is working. I'm happy. I like what I've got going on right now. So hopefully everything works great. Thank you for watching if you made it this far and you didn't click away. If you did, I understand this could probably be pretty boring to people who don't really care. So again, thanks for watching. We will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.